does. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more. What is the Civic Health Index?
Yeah. So the Civic Health Index is something. It's a report that comes out every 5 years. We do this in partnership with the National Conference on Citizenship. So the last one that came out was 2020. Brutal.
Right.
Brutal. So it would have come out in 2020, but because of obvious reasons, like it came out a little late. It came out in 2021, and then prior to that, 2015. And what this looks at are all of the ways that Nebraskans are engaging either within their community or with each other. So we can look at like all of the things that Nebraska is doing really well, but also some opportunity areas.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Where we could grow.
Yeah, our growth opportunities.
Yes, our focus areas.
And it's really kind of broken down into when we think about civic health, we think about it in these different pillars. Social connectedness, political involvement, community engagement, and trust in institutions.
Wow.
And it's a great way to like break down a bunch of those subgroups within in those pillars. So we can really see like where we started in 2015 and how we're doing now. And it also compares us on a national scale, which is really interesting. So we can see like actually Nebraska ranks 3rd in the nation for volunteering. And of course, you know, Nebraskans get a rap like, oh, we're not like the leader in anything, but we are actually.
Yes.
We're the leader in volunteering. We're 6th in group membership, which is really, I think, pretty cool. We're 6th in the nation for spending time with our neighbors. And actually 9th in the nation for buying or boycotting products based on like our values.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, that's wild.
That is
Okay.
Whatever that looks like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Whatever it looks like.
I don't know.
Sure.
I'm not sure.
It looks like dead owls in Target. That looks like.
Yeah. So before we get more into like some of the key findings and about Nebraska, can you tell us why you all decided to do a civic health index for Nebraska? Like, why was this needed?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, you know, at Civic, we really view civic health as the foundation of our work. Of course, we've got our 3 program areas, but civic health really touches everything we're doing. And I think in my own mind, I could probably turn just about anything into a civic health thing.
I love it.
I'm always thinking like, well, we're doing this podcast. This is civic health.
Yeah.
Truly.
It's a form of it.
Yes.
It's the educational component.
Civic health. Yes.
And, you know, the data is really cool, but it's also about how do we get this information into everyday Nebraskans' hands?
Right.
You know, so we want people to take this report, and we don't want to completely own it, right? Like we want to get it into the hands of folks like you, of other communities, and say like, here it is. Like, what can we do about it?
Right.
So that's that's kind of the goal.
Before reading the report, did you have any preconceptions? Like you knew what the outcome was going to be in some of these areas? And were you surprised?
You know, I actually wanted to, I brought some extra statistics about women. We're here with the YWCA,
right?
We're talking about women.
Yep.
And I thought it was very interesting that women are 12%, that they had a 12% increase from 2021. In the category of volunteering. They're much more likely to volunteer than men.
Yes.
That's cool. For us. I mean.
Yeah, you know what? I think, I could have seen that.
We can see that. and
volunteer,
so when you think about it, you know, the Women's March, you know, all of that. And I think that was a lot of the impetus for more women to say, now I want to get even more involved. We hear that a lot in our organization. Women
I think
coming
that's
to us and wanting to be involved.
I think it's amazing the big spike, the increase, and in doing so, it'd be interesting to kind of figure out or see if there was a correlation, between maybe some incidents happening around that time that, sparked that interest in volunteering
The
and
politics
engaging,
and-
like if politics had a
Well,
play in
here,
that.
let's look at another one.
Yeah.
Okay, because Lily probably has the data.
Right.
Well, this one really did surprise me.
Okay.
And I think it's going to surprise you too.
Mm-hmm.
Voting in local elections, we saw a 9.4% decrease in the women category.
Wow, that does.
And
From
is
the last report.
Are these local elections in general?
Local.
Oh, wow.
So, of course, maybe they're not voting in a municipal election.
Yep.
Okay.
But maybe they're voting on the big, national
National,
scale.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we find that a lot. That's one of the things, again, that we were saying whenever we have a local election come up.
Right.
We always, encourage people here on our podcast to go out and to vote.
Yes.
Even in the smaller ones, even if it's not the mayor on the ticket this time, or
Yes,
even if,
yes.
we're just doing judges or
And
pointing
we're
people
doing-
to airport boards.
And it's so
Yeah.
interesting because we're doing voter registration events and, all other kind of educational events around voting. And,
But I think that's really great
Wow.
to know, because
It
then that helps
is.
organizations
yes.
like ourselves when we are. I know in 2026 is kind of a bigger year. Maybe they'll come out and
Maybe
vote
a
a little bit
year.
better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's a little bit,
It's a good guide
it's
for us.
for us
our
and for
work.
other organizations to know that we had such a big decrease, and trying to understand why we had a decrease. Was
Right.
was it a mental thing? Was it like, I feel like we're
Just kinda
taking
apathy.
10 steps backwards
Right.
and it's going so fast that I don't know how to catch up or keep up? Is it because when I look at the candidates, I don't know if any of them actually represent what I'm feeling and, what we value, as women. And so it's really interesting to see that, but it's, again, a great guide for our organizations to try to figure out what is happening, that we have such a drop and we have an increase in volunteering, which I think those two together, that's very interesting to me, but a decrease in voting.
And can we go just a little bit deeper, Lily? I don't know if you have this piece of the data. Are these women that were registered voters, or we're just saying
That's a great question. What
residents who would be eligible?
Right. What I
vote?
wanted to say about the data, where the data really falls short from what we received from the National Conference on Citizenship, is it does not show us really important demographics like race.
Yes.
It doesn't show ability level.
Okay.
It does, it doesn't get into the really nitty gritty important things that would paint a bigger picture. And so one of the goals that we have between now and the 2030 index, is to really figure out what supplemental reports can we do, who are the partners that we want to work with, to dive into this data more. Is it, we hope to work with the UNL Public Policy Center, and maybe we even get up to a granular level with Lincoln or Fullerton, Nebraska. How can we dive deeper into those really important things that are not in this data?
Because you can't even tell where, correct? In what city, what county?
Is it urban?
Right.
Is it rural?
Right. And that's important also.
It really is.
It's a very
It
big
is.
difference.
If it's not a Lincoln problem, but we out here.
Exactly.
Women vote.
Exactly.
It's not even. Hey, we are voting, so it's just that is helpful to know some of those things.
Because it helps guide our work.
It does, but I guess for now the message is women vote.
Get out there.
The general message.
Just the general message is when we're doing voter registration.
One other women thing that I really do want to point out too, that I think you'll find is interesting, is there was also a decrease for women discussing political or societal issues with family, friends, and neighbors.
Yep.
That's scary to me.
It
we can't, that we're not maybe feeling
safe to have those,
confident, safe,
have those conversations.
To have those conversations.
That's right.
And what can we do about it?
Yeah.
As an organization, again, we encourage those conversations, and we encourage having, our office being a safe space and place for those conversations to happen. I know Civic Nebraska you all do a lot of different events where people
Right.
can come out and just
Yeah.
have conversations about, civic issues. And, I wish it was the case for us to somehow go into the neighborhood and
Right.
figure out like, how do we have these? But it's really because we're so divisive, and we're so divisive to a level of like hate. If you don't agree with me, then I just, on one thing, then I have this whole preconception of who you are as a person. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to talk with you. And that can be alienating to someone who knows that their neighbors do not feel the same as them.
Right.
Their husband or their spouse, they do not feel the same. Their family, they do not feel the same. You can be alienated based on one idea or thought right now because politics and civic engagement is so divisive right now. And that's really scary across the board, of a lot of people not being able to engage fully with these types of conversations and understand, civil discourse, that we cannot agree and still have a level of respect and engagement while we're having conversation. But that's just not the case. It is so divisive right now.
And I feel like it's such a setback when
It
I
really
think about
is.
the women's movement and where we have come from suffrage and through civil rights and, all these other critical movements, in our history. And women were, so strong in exercising their voice and, using their feet to be out there and, push the narrative of that I have a voice, I have a right. And here, we fought so hard to get to the right to vote, and now to feel I can't even express my viewpoint.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
I mean, because a lot of those protections that allowed us after we fought and they
Exactly.
went into policy of what we can say and how we can be
Yes.
engaged, a lot of those protections are now being dismantled in places and spaces
That,
too.
to me,
And
that's
so,
the
yeah.
direct connection there. You're
And
right.
so you are pulling back as you feel like maybe your rights you're being disenfranchised, really. And so that's that's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
That really is very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think too. I had kind of two thoughts about this. Is one, I thought it was really interesting after the November election. I feel like we had just a flood of requests from folks wanting guidance and wanting hope about having civil discourse
That's right.
with people.
Yes.
Like, how do I bridge this divide with someone that doesn't see from my perspective or have the same viewpoints of me? So I think that made me feel hopeful that people want to learn those civil discourse skills. And then I also think another interesting thing, especially for Lincoln, is, we see this kind of data, this I'm not discussing these things with my neighbors, family, and friends. And then we also see, like the Lincoln Community Foundation came out with Prosper 3.0, and one of their pillars is social connectedness.
Right.
And we've identified isolation and loneliness, and all of these things are so related to each other.
They are.
And the health department's looking at it, and the what is the I'll move on. But anyways, I think it's super interesting that we can see it in the data that we're not connecting with folks in certain ways.
Yeah.
And then we also see this isolation, loneliness, depression. I feel like it's all got to be correlated.
Yes. Was it a decrease in everyone, so men and women, is just a bigger decrease in women?
It was a decrease across the board.
Okay.
Age range.
Yes.
Yeah.
Men, women. Yeah.
Again, I think that has to do with it too. Isolation, the new world after COVID. A lot of people are not connecting with each other. And then when you want to connect, do you want to be in an argument potentially? You know what I mean? Is that the one topic when I do decide to connect to bring up some of the most divisive things? Like
to venture out there.
And then maybe I will.
In my hole.
Maybe I will go out with a friend and hey, let's talk politics. That's probably not the thing
Yeah.
because it's so divisive right now. That's not the thing you want to talk about. And also because you might lose a friend over that or a connection with a family member or a neighbor, depending on where you land politically.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
were some of the other findings, Lily?
Ooh, okay. Well, let's see. We also, I'm gonna pick out a cool. We did see women had an increase in joining groups, group participation.
Yeah.
And I feel like just like anecdotally, I see that like on social media, you know, like women are joining these entrepreneurship groups or leadership groups or, you know,
finding
of course,
community.
That's my own personal experience seeing that finding
community. It's finding community.
Yeah,
I think, you know, when you want to venture out of your house and venture out of your space, especially again, if the people you're around, they do not have the same interests as you, then you do want to find community so you can where you can be yourself. And I think that's amazing that they are deciding to create and build and find community within these different groups. I think that's awesome.
Maybe they're joining like boards of directors or
you know,
we're
seeing that at our own organization.
Really?
We're bringing on 4 new board members, and it's such an exciting time for us. And a lot of it is because they feel that this is a space, you know, as Myesha mentioned before, to have those kind of real upfront conversations and really talk about what they're feeling and how they can impact the community. And so we're all about that. We're about that empowerment of voice, and especially how we can represent some of those voices that may not have the ability to be heard. So we do a lot of that representation.
And I think it's great with, you know, joining a group of people who feel the same way as you. Hopefully that will somehow translate into or correlate at some point with more people being involved civically and at the legislature with coming out and sharing their opinions, because now they're a part of a group doing it. They don't feel like it's I, me alone. But if we're talking about something that is impacting my group, then maybe we then can share our collective voice. Because it is really hard to feel like you're by yourself trying to share, you know, your voice on something.
And those are the spaces where ideas happen and you gain confidence and you find your voice. So I totally agree. That is where organizing starts to happen.
Exactly.
In those community spaces.
That's right. And we are proud that we are one of those organizations. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back talking more about the Civic Health Index.
MHC isn't new, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered. Specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can also handle your commercial moves as well. There's never fees on trucks, stairs, elevators, long carry, and last-minute booking, and no trip or fuel charges. Also no upcharge on weekends, and they do offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left at once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2. Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today. 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Life changes, and sometimes that means changing where you call home. Whether you're downsizing, growing your family, relocating, or facing tough times, you shouldn't navigate it alone. I'm Laura Bonta-Bush with Woods Bros Realty, and I'm here to guide you with all your real estate needs. As wife of football coach Bill Bush, I understand the importance of teamwork and making sure you are supported every step of the way with honesty, integrity, and compassion. If you're looking for a game plan to buy or sell your home, text or call me at 402-525-0843. That's 402-525-0843.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Hopefully you and I agree that you should do everything you can to save your marriage. Divorce is hard, expensive, and its outcome is usually not all you hope for. However, when doing everything has failed, when divorce remains as your last option, consider Cordell & Cordell as your first choice to help you through the divorce process to a better place on the other side. We've been a partner men can count on for more than 30 years. Let us be that partner for you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 402-858-3220. That's 402-858-3220. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln. 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Back to the YWCA Hour. Here are your hosts, Karen Bell Dancy and Myesha Essex.
Hey, we're back with the W with Karen Bell Dancy and Myesha Essex, and our special guest here in the studio today, Lily Shagru with Civic Nebraska. And we've been talking about the Civic Health Index here in our state, in our community. And Lily has just been sharing a great number of stats with us about the Civic Health Index and how we as Nebraska look against other states. And oddly enough, we're looking pretty healthy.
We're looking pretty good.
Right, we are. We're looking pretty great. You've been sharing with us some more, stats on women. What are some key findings that you found in those 4 areas that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah. Well, let's see. A couple things to point out are people in Nebraska are actually consuming quite a bit of news. Mm-hmm. Also, something that I feel like we might be maybe the perspective on Nebraska would be that we're not engaged in that way, that we're not informed.
Yeah.
But we're actually consuming a lot of news. Mm-hmm. Our charitable giving is actually charitable or giving to a religious organization, that's actually down.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
which I think is really interesting. Yeah.
But that's statewide, right?
Statewide.
Because it seems like within our community,
Yeah.
and when you look at
Yeah.
big campaigns like Give to Lincoln Day, each year is going up for the
Right.
charitable giving. So,
Right.
but statewide is down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, that's where maybe those supplemental reports would be really
Right.
helpful.
Yes.
Is to be able to figure out exactly where that is
where.
happening.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
this since 2021 or over the 10 years?
Yep. 2021. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Also.
Now I think about it, that kind of makes sense though, because you had a lot of people with loss of income.
Yeah.
And a lot of other
Right.
challenges that were there that may be barriers that, I have to pay the rent and I have to pay the mortgage, make sure the car is running versus giving to a charity,
Right.
unfortunately.
Right.
And we did see a dip in donations for us as well. So
Yeah. The economy
it correlates.
Yeah,
the economy.
yeah.
for a lot of
Yep.
people.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it does make sense.
Mhm.
A couple of the places that we actually rank pretty low is, yes, we rank really high in spending time with neighbors,
Mhm.
but where we rank really low is actually doing favors for neighbors. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
We're 41st in the nation for doing favors for our
I'm sorry
neighbors.
to laugh at that. Oh my goodness.
I think that's interesting. But
Yes.
I mean, in my own small bubble, and maybe it's an age thing. It could be an age thing.
Could be an age
It can't. It could be maybe because you live in an apartment thing.
Okay.
But
Getting a little personal, right? Over.
I don't really know. I don't really know my
Are you
neighbors.
feeling called out
Right,
right
yeah.
now?
I don't really know my neighbors. I'm be honest. I don't.
Yes.
I don't know. Like if it's
Well,
because
were
we
still
don't have that
isolating.
supplemental.
We were still isolating.
Yeah,
Right.
but we
So.
we don't have that supplemental information as to like who
Yeah,
said they
okay.
do or do not do favors
That's right.
for their neighbors. I can't say a person neighbors never knocked on my door
Yeah.
ever, let alone
To
ever
give you a favor.
ask, "Hey, can you do me a favor?"
Right.
And maybe it's because we're not
Okay.
socially connected.
Yes.
Socially connected. But I don't know if it's age thing. I don't know if it's where you live,
Okay.
like apartment thing.
Right.
But I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You can always change that.
I guess I could just.
One
Yeah.
one percentage at a time.
Yeah. Baby steps, babe.
Maybe
Yeah.
just a nod.
Yeah.
You know, we wave, we say hi,
Oh,
but I guess no.
So
is
that fits the
different.
data. That
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I am not
You're
just
speaking,
personally because
But I'm not doing anything for you.
well, because no one asked. I don't know if it's a thing. Like I don't know. I don't think to be like, hey neighbor, do something for me. But again, maybe it's because it's an apartment type thing. Maybe if I had a house and I was on a block and
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that makes sense.
Maybe I go to my
And I
leasing
think,
office
too,
and
'cause-
tell my apartment people, y'all need to do more social connectedness events here.
Happy
hour. Did you not read the Civic Health Index?
Yes.
We don't know each other.
Yeah. Well, having more block parties.
That's
and
right.
All those
We don't
kinds
do
of things,
favors.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you know your name?
I do know
Yes.
favors.
Okay.
I do, and we do favors, and yeah.
That's what. Is it a generational
so.
Yeah.
thing? That's why I'm asking. Like, because again, my friend, no one's like, hey, it's like you said, maybe speak, hello, hi,
Yeah,
but it's not really a,
but I will
Yeah.
say this,
and it's not the willingness to not do a
yeah,
favor. It's we
right.
just
my
don't even
core,
ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
core group of neighbors, the
Mhm.
ones that I can see facing my home, we are like that.
Mhm.
But I don't know who's at the other end of the block.
Okay.
Has the life become ordained? Because now when I think about when I was younger, yeah, we did. All my parents knew the neighbors. We knew the neighbors.
We all
Kids.
did.
I mean, but we were outside more. Like so, like
Yeah.
But you
back
knew
then, yeah,
even-
you knew, and
even if that was a house without kids,
you knew who they were.
lived in
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you just knew.
Yeah.
But again, we were outside, so we were like a
Different.
part of the
Mhm.
community in a different way.
Yeah,
Maybe we, like you
Yeah.
said, we've just
And
become way
you-
more
you know-
isolated with technology and
right.
how
Well, and
we
I think
connect
you
to
pull
being
into your
different.
garage.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's maybe you're working all day and then
Oh, yeah.
you've got
This is true.
kids to feed.
Yeah.
There's all sorts
Mhm.
of factors that could go into that. Like,
Yep.
our time is so precious.
Yes.
I want to
Yeah.
know with this survey, they ask has a neighbor asked you to do a favor and you said no? Or was it, have you ever done a favor for a neighbor?
Let's get specific.
Yeah, like, did they ask you and you said no? Okay, we'll move on.
Maisha's getting a little touchy.
You're right. Did they ask? If they didn't ask, then they can't. Okay, go ahead.
Oh my gosh. And again, bringing up this discussing political or local issues with neighbors, we rank 47th.
Yeah.
Is it the Nebraska Nice?
It might be Nebraska Nice. Yeah. I don't know.
Not so nice.
Not so nice.
Yeah. It's really low.
You don't want to, like I said, when you do come out, do you want to be in an argument? Speak to someone?
Yeah. And, you know, for some of the other things, we kind of rank mid. I'm going to say that. I think that's what the kids are saying now. Mid. Yeah. Like, contacting public officials, we rank 13th, which is still actually really good.
That's actually really good.
Yeah.
Yay.
Some people are, you know,
yes,
sending those letters to senators. They're testifying at public meetings. Yeah. So pretty interesting.
It's good.
It really is. Okay, so was there any finding in this health index that is now going to guide Civic Nebraska's way of engaging? Were you all able to take any of those things and say, hey, we're going to focus a little bit more on this area because
That's super interesting. At this
or
point,
like, how are you using it? Maybe because it just came out.
Yeah. So what we want to start with to kind of explore these things are we're going to work with some different partner organizations to host like a webinar series and really kind of dig into specific areas about the data and what they see in their work. So we're kind of starting with that. That'll start like this fall. And then in May, mark your calendars.
Okay.
We're having our first Civic Health Conference.
Oh, yay.
Oh,
yes.
I will definitely attend that.
Yes. So that will be Tuesday, May 19th, 2026.
Okay.
We're out there.
Days, I'm counting down the days.
Yeah.
And so I think that will be a great space for getting all of these cool organizations and individuals and people together to look at the data, to also see a bunch of other examples of civic health and figure out like, where do we go next? We'd also like to take this into some different rural communities and have some community conversations about it. Like, here's the data. What does this look like in your community? Are there things that you can do together to work on these opportunity areas? Or maybe you just celebrate, like, we're doing this really well here. So those are kind of like our next steps to start with. And then we're kind of exploring some other options on you know, that supplemental data and then taking that and kind of figuring out like what's the next like iteration of this thing.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
When you look at that data and all of these results, what are some of the other either states or urban areas like that are comparable to the size of our community that you say, hey, they're doing this piece really well? You know, their data shows, you know, more engagement on the different pillars that we can look to.
That would actually, you know, I haven't done that yet, but that actually is really interesting. I know just from like my prior work in other organizations, like a comparable city would be like Madison, Wisconsin. So it'd be really interesting to find out, because I know like there's about 30-ish states that are doing civic health indexes or indices, and it would be interesting to see if Wisconsin has one and see like how they're doing in comparison. So those are all things that I'd love to come. And we'd also like to invite to our Civic Health Conference other states that have done that. You know,
I was going to ask, was this just Nebraska, or are you inviting outside for the Civic Health Conference?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a lot to celebrate in Nebraska in terms of civic health. But it would be great to kind of turn this, you know, into a regional opportunity. The only other civic health conference that we really is civic health specific is actually with the National Conference on Citizenship. They do one once a year, and it's out in DC, and You know, you just
okay.
don't see as much like Midwest
Right.
participation. And so we're kind of hoping that this will be the opportunity to get our region together to talk about civic health.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said that we are ranked, and let me get this right, is it 47th in talking to our neighbors and family and friends about politics and societal issues.
Yeah.
You also said you had an influx of people coming to your organization saying, hey, I want to talk and have help me in regards to civil discourse. So what would you tell people who are listening right now who feel the same way? Like, what's step one in having a conversation in regards to civil discourse with someone you do not agree with?
Right. I think for me, the willingness to listen. And I know that's hard in certain situations when maybe your identity is being attacked. You know,
Identity
that's not
politics
safe,
is
right?
real. Yes.
That's not safe. You know, when you're made to feel less than human. That's a situation where I say don't engage. You know, like it's not worth it.
Exactly.
In other situations where maybe that's not the case, I think it's a matter of both parties really being able to say all the things that they want to say and be curious of one another. Ask questions. And you may not like the answer.
Yeah.
But being curious with each other, you know, remembering that if you very much value this relationship with the other person, that comes first too. I don't know.
You know, when we talk about civil discourse, again, what I hear you saying is active listening. So not listening to respond, like actually taking time to listen to the other person's response. What I've also told people, and there are, you know, some people, as you said, you just do not need to engage with, right? Like they're not here to really listen. They're not going to try to figure out and understand your side. But hopefully we have majority of the people here in our community, especially if it's a family member, would want to sit down and hopefully understand. What I always tell people is that we have to understand, we do an exercise with our gear where it's like a values game, and we're taking away, and I'm giving them like 30 seconds to say, now you have to take this away. Which one are you going to choose? And I said, at the end of it, they have like 3 cards left, right? And I said, well, what would happen? And I mean, I've taken them down from like 12 or 13 cards. So they've already been, you know, cutting stuff out.
Hard decisions.
Very hard decisions.
Yes.
And I said, well, what happens if I tell you that you would have to take one more away? Oh, they were like, these are fighting words, right? Because this is what I value. And I said, well, this is key in understanding maybe how the other side thinks as well. You are taking away
I love that.
What they believe are values and what they need. And now you're pushing it all the way down. If religion is still on your table right now, if I've asked you to take away 13 things and you still have religion on your table, and I ask you to take away one more, what are you going to do for your religion? How are you going to fight? You know what? It's everyone's in survival mode. And so if you can understand, even though we don't understand why they might, now you may not understand, like if I say this or in support of a certain policy, that doesn't mean you're not going to survive. We can all say that and think that. Right. But if someone really feels like I am now in survival mode, it is now fight or flight. When you are in survival mode, is logic one of the things you lean on? Probably not. Like, you know, when you're like, they're not thinking logic. No. And the way that I look at the other side and be like, oh, they might be looking at me like, really? Depending on the values that we are trying to poke of theirs, right? So I just
so true.
Wow. Let's sit on that. We're gonna take a quick break and reflect on that. Put your comments down. I know you have something to say on that one. We'll be back.
MHC isn't new, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered. Specializing in home, apartments, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can also handle your commercial moves as well. There's never fees on trucks, stairs, elevators, long carry, and last-minute booking, and no trip or fuel charges. Also no upcharge on weekends, and they do offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2. Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Life changes, and sometimes that means changing where you call home. Whether you're downsizing, growing your family, relocating, or facing tough times, you shouldn't navigate it alone. I'm Laura Bonta-Bush with Woods Bros Realty, and I'm here to guide you with all your real estate needs. As wife of football coach Bill Bush, I understand the importance of teamwork and making sure you are supported every step of the way with honesty, integrity, and compassion. If you're looking for a game plan to buy or sell your home, text or call me at 402-525-0843. That's 402-525-0843.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Hopefully you and I agree that you should do everything you can to save your marriage. Divorce is hard, expensive, and its outcome is usually not all you hope for. However, when doing everything has failed, when divorce remains as your last option, consider Cordell & Cordell as your first choice to help you through the divorce process to a better place on the other side. We've been a partner men can count on for more than 30 years. Let us be that partner for you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 402-858-3220. That's 402-858-3220. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln. 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, Apply today at nebco.com.
Back to the YWCA Hour. Here are your hosts, Karen Bell Dancy and Myesha Essex.
So thanks for hanging with us. I hope you had the time to reflect on that last piece before we left, and we look forward to the comments. Remember, this is a pre-record, so put your thoughts in the comments, and we will be sure to read those. We're back with Lily Shagrew with Civic Nebraska, and we've been talking about the Civic Health Index. And Lily, I remember when you came on board.
Yeah.
You may not remember that, but I do. Tell us, how did you get into this line of work and coming to be part of Civic Nebraska?
Yeah, I've been a fan of Civic Nebraska for a really long time.
Okay.
I remember in 2020 when Steve started doing Civic Saturdays, I just kind of volunteered my time to help with the Zoom, and so I've just been kind of stalking them for a while and never really imagined myself actually being a part of the organization. So I'm super happy to be there. I love my role. I think it's like the most amazing fit. I really feel like I won the job lottery. And I'm still a year and a half in, so I think my honeymoon phase is over, but I am loving it so much. And then I got into civic engagement. Really has been a passion of mine.
We're hearing
for
that.
a long time. I just, this is pretty stereotypical, but my parents are very civically engaged, and I think that was a really great model for me growing up. They always they took us to the voting booth. They took us to volunteer opportunities. My mom would take us to different groups that she was participating in. All sorts of things, like seeing Ernie Chambers do his thing in the legislature, like all of it.
That was always enlightening.
My mom actually was inspired to go back to college as an adult because she had a bad experience testifying in the legislature at a hearing. They made her feel less than. And that inspired her. So, all of these different things.
Story.
Yeah. I hope she tells that story one day.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. But yeah, so it's always just been about like caring for your neighbors, being involved in the community. And I think that really kicked off when I started working for Leadership Lincoln as a program coordinator, and really saw the opportunity that I can do this as my work and inspire others to want to be a part of their community too and be connected and engaged.
Oh, I love that. So what that is telling our audience is you can just start with that notion of I want to be involved, and now you turn that into career. That's amazing. Yeah, very, very powerful.
Thank you.
And motivational. Yes, thanks for sharing that piece.
Yeah, we like to tell when we're saying, if you don't know where to get involved, think about an issue that is really, really important to you or impacts your family or someone that you know. And just start there, whether that is just getting more education, on the issue, whether it is volunteering because you feel a passion to volunteer, and then hopefully that will turn into, something a little bit bigger, or more, or something that is staple in your life. And it is great when you have those role models. Such as your parents to, make sure you grew up in that environment, of always being connected civically and giving back and engaging. And it's something that we want people to know that there are a lot of models out here that you can look at that may not, they may not be in your family. They may not be a part of your immediate circle, But if it's something that you want to do, there are a ton of organizations that can show you how. There are a ton of stories that can inspire you, like yours. You telling us of how you got involved. So, and then if you just, again, step by step, if you want to know, just go to Civic Nebraska. They'll tell you.
YWCA,
yes,
too, I'm just saying.
they'll tell you how to get engaged as well. But Civic Nebraska, that is your 100% of what you all do.
Yes.
It's helping Nebraskans become more civically engaged.
Right.
And so you can always use you as a resource. Now, you told us that you have an event coming up. Okay. Is there anything else you would like our audience to know about, like different events or things happening with Civic Nebraska?
Yeah, we do once a quarter, we have our Civic Saturdays, and that's really a great time to get together with folks that are civically minded and to hear a message of hope and optimism. And I think it's just nice to be in community with people and during those Civic Saturdays. Take a look at the Civic Health Index on our website. The full report is on there.
Right.
Yep.
Where can people access this? And then I know Lily is open to presenting this. If you have a group or an organization that you would like to have her present some key findings from this health index to, where can they find you, or what email?
So you can find me at Lily, LILY SUGHROUE at civicnebraska.org. You can find me on the website too. My email's on there. But yes, I'd be happy to get together with anyone that's interested to talk about it, to do a presentation, to have a facilitated discussion. I'm here for it.
And neighborhood associations, think about this.
Totally.
That's, it's not just, I'll say more formal organizations like we are, nonprofits, but just the general public. What an idea to bring this into your neighborhood. I think it would just promote more communication, more active listening, more neighbors that say, can I do a favor for you, Myesha? What else can we do to foster more of a relationship, and just a better Nebraska?
Yes.
So,
and what I'm getting from the key findings is really that social connectedness.
Exactly.
Being able to, not only wave at your neighbors, but, have more of an in-depth engagement and conversation. And being able to feel like you can converse with your neighbors in regards to many different topics, but one being politically, because we all need to know.
We do.
We all need to know, not to say specifically that your choice on what you do, but we all need to come together so we can understand as a community how we're feeling, and what's important to us on a community level, and then how we can support each other. So we need to talk.
This has been such a great conversation with Lily today. I hope you take the opportunity to really reflect on this information. Go to the webpage for Civic Nebraska. Take a look at the Civic Health Index and get involved. Really get involved so that we as Nebraska, we can move up the chain
from 47
Yes.
Social connection.
Yes. So
thanks
again for being with us with the W, Karen Bell Dancy and Myesha Essex, and we'll talk to you next time.